Fill her up.
You're listening to the Gas Digital Network.
I went online to become a private detective. It was a private detective school online, and I paid online. I never heard from them again. I thought to myself, I either got ripped off, or this is my first case. This is a journalistic podcast, Shannon. We vaccinate our listeners with answers. And I'm going to keep lip-syncing the important questions until TikTok gives me a show. Shannon, how can the moon landing be real if the moon itself is fake?
That's not true, Mike.
Oh, isn't it true, Shannon? You're fake. You're a hologram.
1 in 5 New Yorkers are food insecure. What's your solution for that, Mike?
Fortune cookie. Because that's food and advice at the same time. Shannon, at least have the decency to backstab me, okay? You stab me in the front every time. Some fans can't watch the podcast because they're triggered by our sexuality. And message to those fans, we will leak a sex tape right into your mouth.
This is Mike Vecchione Investigates.
And you're not better than me.
Welcome to Mike Vecchione Investigates, everybody. We have another fantastic episode on tap for you. And I'm just going to bring the guest on now because she's a dear friend and we've known each other for years and years. And I'm so happy that she could do this because I know she's busy and she has a family, which she never lets me forget. She has a loving family and that she has to attend to because she's a mother and she's a wife, and I'm proud of her. And her time is short because she's got motherly and wifely duties to attend to, and she does not have time to hang out like a comic anymore like she used to. She has got other responsibilities, but I have to bring her in because we have news stories, and this is a news-based podcast, and I need her expertise and her joke skills to attack some of the stuff that's going on in the news right now. I am in an undisclosed location because, frankly, the stories that we break on this podcast, I feel in danger. I feel in danger from the outside world and from the Gas Digital Studios, because much like Putin, it could come from the inside and I could be murdered from the inside. I don't know. I was in the small studio last week and now I'm in no studio. Now I'm in an undisclosed location and that nobody can know about, not even Shannon. So with that being said, let's bring in our fantastic, hilarious guest, Gina Brione. Thank you for joining us, Gina.
Thank you for having me on your podcast, Mike.
And you are not in an undisclosed location. You are at home with a family that you are raising.
Yes, a family that I run this ship, as I have said to you several times, Mike.
You run the ship, Gina.
I do.
Well, thank you for coming on. I think the fans know you. And they know you, they know your reputation as a fantastic, hard-hitting comic. And you're on the road touring. You have all that America's Got Talent heat just surrounding you. It's almost like I can't even get close to you. When I see you, I want to say hello. But the heat is just seeping off of you. And I can't get close to you anymore, Gina. And what is that about? And how has the tour been?
Michael, I literally texted you last week.
Yes.
But
that's not in person. You texted me.
Yeah.
But I'm saying the physical heat that's coming off of you from the industry is palpable, Gina. And that's a big word for our fans. Our fans are not bright and they have trouble with big words like palpable. But I could feel the heat from the industry coming off of you. And I know you've been on the road and you've been trying to balance your career and your work, and you're in high demand right now. And what's that like? Tell our fans who are on their couch and mostly unemployed, living off the government.
First of all, okay. I'm happy for your fans if they're living their best life on their couch. It has been wonderful. The tours have been going great. The shows have been really fun. It's nice to get out and be doing shows again at full capacity in comedy clubs, which is always fun. And I've got to go to some places I've never been to before, which is I'm hitting Madison, Wisconsin, and Comedy by State coming up soon. And I'm really excited for shows like that because I've never been over there. So I get to see some cool places. One. That is, I hear good things. I hear good things, Mike.
That's a really good one. Now, the wife and mother joke on that, can I just say the wife and mother joke? I want to go somewhere I've never been. And the man goes, try the kitchen.
Hello.
Okay. That's just an old one. That's just an old one. That's just an old one.
Are you opening
So,
that?
no, I'm not going to open with it. I'm not going to open with it. Not in this climate, Gina, not in this climate. Okay. So you're on tour and you've been to Denver. How was Denver?
Denver is one of my absolute favorite cities to do comedy. It is such a comedy loving city and they have great food, awesome people. What's not to love about Denver?
The altitude. How about the altitude, Gina? I can think of one thing.
I mean, if you have healthy lungs, it's fine.
Well, I do have healthy lungs, and I'll tell you what, that I could not. Gina, you're mocking me, and I'm sensing it. Even via satellite in an undisclosed location, get the fact that you're mocking me, but I could not get my bearings in Denver. It's too high of a city.
Oh, I mean, I guess.
But maybe it's because my comedy didn't translate there either. That could be.
How is that possible, Mike? You're one of the absolute funniest people I know. I refuse to believe your comedy didn't translate over there.
Gina, that's so nice of you because it's a rare opportunity where you have a chance to trash me and you didn't take it. You went the opposite way. And it's unbelievable to me that you just did that.
I did not. I truly believe you are very, very, very funny and a very strong writer.
Well, thank you for saying that, which means I'm a weak performer. That's what I'll take from that.
Wow.
And I can't breathe in high altitudes. And I'm in an undisclosed location. Okay. Gina, you have the family. Today. What's that?
Someone's sensitive today.
Well, that's part of this podcast, Gina. It's sensitivity and wild bipolar behavior.
Okay.
Okay, that's what we're dealing with right now. But I want to get your expert opinion. I know your time is limited because you mentioned something about going to a park today with your son.
Son is going to the park.
And what's the plan at the park? Do you let him roam free? Is he more of a free range child? Are you a helicopter mom?
I am a very helicoptery mom. I hover, I sanitize, I keep him away from the older kids with their loud music.
Right.
And all of their inappropriate behavior. I'm more of a helicopter mom, I have to admit. I do hover around them. I can't help it. I got to protect them.
Because you don't want them joining a gang.
No,
not this early.
Not those toddler gangs that are so troublesome.
Right. And are you worried about toys, Gina? Because toys now are a big thing where they get lodged in the child's throat, and there needs to be warnings on all of the toys. And the paint is like lead now, from what I'm reading, various articles.
Well, I'm kind of winging it. I figure, because he's got to build up some kind of strength. You know what I mean? If he swallows a marble, he's going to have to get the Heimlich and then relive that situation every time he sees a marble.
Right. Does he play marbles? Because marbles is an old school game, Gina.
It is. It's very old school. Still fun, though. I stand by the funness of marbles.
That's really great. So do you keep him off screens?
Yes, for the most part, but he does have a love of YouTube videos. And does watch the occasional affirmation video for toddlers as I'm trying to raise a woke child.
You give him affirmation videos? That's beautiful.
Yes, I give him affirmation videos. He does every morning, and he goes over them with me. He goes over them with his dad, and he says them. He says, I am kind. I am unique. I am awesome.
Oh, Gina, what about some other ones? If I could, I'd like to offer some affirmations for your son. I'm kind and I am loving is very beautiful, and I don't want to discount that. And I think you're doing a great job. How about I'm writing it down here. I am a black belt.
Okay.
Okay, so he's also kind, but he's also telling people also he walks around knowing I am a black belt. I am a black belt. I am a black belt. I will decapitate you with a spin kick if you cross me.
I like it. I like it. You know what? We might have to start using it. I like the
Right.
intimidation factor of it.
Yes.
I think it will instill some great confidence in him.
How about, can I suggest another one?
Yeah, you may. Go ahead.
I am a Bitcoin millionaire. How about that? I'm kind, but I also will destroy you with my electronic currency.
That is where I believe that we are headed. We are headed towards electronic currency. And for him to be a mogul with all those Bitcoins, I would say I agree with that affirmation as well.
Yes.
Yes.
So I'm just saying, let's diversify the app. I'm a big believer in affirmations.
Okay.
And I'm also a big believer in working out, as I know you are, and your husband is. And so is he, when he naps, do you wake him up and then force him to maybe plank?
I like him to nap in a plank. It's very difficult. You have to train to do it. It's really, you have to lean up against the wall to make sure that when you fall asleep, you don't just not, you want to keep the plank. So he has perfected it like something I've never seen. It's amazing. He's like a shaman of planking. So he will nap in a plank.
Napping in a plank is something I've never thought of, Gina. And this is why you're on the show, to introduce our fans. Just nap. They don't even plank. So you introducing this is blowing their mind right now. Napping in a plank.
It's life-changing. You can actually burn more calories while napping in a plank than you could if you did it while you were awake. It's amazing when you do the science. The science is just undeniable.
I just had another affirmation thought, and maybe you could, I'm the middleweight champion of the world. That's a good affirmation. I am the middleweight champion of the world.
You know what?
I don't know how big he's going to be. You and your husband are both medium-sized people. So I don't know how big he's going to be. I see him as a middleweight, and of course, a middleweight champion. So as an affirmation, as a middleweight champion of the world, do you think that would be a good affirmation that maybe you could work in there with him?
You know what? I will say, based on his current frame, middleweight would actually probably be pretty accurate.
Awesome.
I love the affirmation. Again, you give these great affirmations that instill confidence. I love the confidence, Mike. It's a really great affirmation. And I would love to have a son that is the middleweight champion.
I have to ask you another question about Old MacDonald, because you're probably doing stuff with him where you're teaching him. And it's like Old MacDonald had a farm and you're teaching him that. And it's like, what happened to Old MacDonald's farm? Like, do you really tell him the real story that it got foreclosed on and he didn't have the money to make the mortgage and he got beat out by these, foreign foods that are coming in?
Wow. That's a lot to digest right now. When it comes to Old MacDonald, it's so crazy. I actually don't allow such songs in my household. We only listen to Spanish music and Spanish nursery rhymes because they're just better. And I have a suspicion that Old MacDonald was probably racist. So I actually keep him out of our lives for that purpose. Does
Old MacDonald have white privilege? Is that why the animals can talk?
Yes, 100%.
It's white privilege, Gina?
Yes, he was awarded white privilege by just being white, and therefore the animals on his farm were also awarded privilege via his whiteness, and so they were gifted this power by white Jesus, who was not the Jesus, but is in fact the Jesus for the whites.
Gina, is there a Spanish version of Old MacDonald?
No.
Or maybe Old MacDonald, his name is Old Pepe, and he had a bodega instead of a farm?
Oh my God, you know Pepe the Bodega song?
Yeah, is there a song?
Pepe the Bodega song. Wow, it actually goes to the same beat of Old MacDonald. It's Pepe has a bodega, someone stole the cat. It's crazy.
Gina, that's amazing. Well, it's crossing cultures and learning.
Yeah, that's what it's all about, Mike. That's what it's all about.
And this is the critical race theory that we need.
Exactly.
Okay. Gina, I can't waste your time. I'm not going to do it. Okay. That's enough personal stuff. I need to take your comedic expertise, and I need you to apply them. There's a lot going on in the news right now, and people rely on us for the news. So, and they rely on our hot takes, which is a big thing that people are saying now. So, okay, before we get, this is an unofficial thing that we talked about last week, but I'm dying to get your opinion on it. If you've watched it at all, I know you're busy with other stuff, but the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial, Gina, you're in a relationship. I'm in a relationship. We all can kind of relate to what's going on in the trial, but have you been watching it? And if not, I will feed you some things that have been happening from this trial. What are your thoughts?
Like most things that happen in the news, and like most people today, I get most of my news from Instagram and TikTok. So yes, I have been watching the trial in clips, basically all of the highlights. But if there's a specific part of the trial you'd like to talk about, I do feel well versed in the viral clips from the trial.
Gina, you're a grounded person, and because you've had a lot of success, you've managed to stay grounded. And I've known you personally for years and years, and you have just a great head on your shoulders. Is this relationship toxic between Amber and Johnny?
I'm gonna say yes, 100%. I believe a lot of relationships are toxic because most people suck. So their relationship just happens to be like, if there was like a scale, we should create a toxicity scale, because some people are like 1% maybe toxic. They're at that like 1 level, and then there are some people that are 5. That's like a top. That's the parents we grew up with. Most of them were at a 5 of toxicity. And then you have Amber and Johnny. They're at a 10. It got physical. They're at a 10. When you shit in someone's bed, that's a 10. That's a 10.
But isn't that communication, Gina? I would argue that she's communicating. It's like you're communicating with your partner, and there's no more words. And it's like, okay, there needs to be an act in order to get the message across. And is it a number 1? Is it a number 2? Is it something else? Is it, there needs to be some kind of a physical action at some point. And isn't that part of communication, Gina?
You do make a great point. However, I think Amber's biggest mistake was not admitting to having shat the bed.
Right.
Had she admitted it, then maybe Johnny would have been like, well, we need to talk. Clearly, there's something on your mind.
Right.
You've left me something that lets me know there's something going on inside of you.
And but there literally is with digestion, Gina.
Clearly, we did not know, nor are we given any details of exactly how this poop was. What exactly was this poop? Because, if it wasn't the right consistency, this could mean some serious stomach issues for Amber that could be brought on by her mental state.
It's an Amber Alert. I think it's a new version of an Amber Alert.
I think that would be a great way to use that phrase. It is an Amber Alert if someone has shat in your bed.
Well, do you think it could be another message like, you cooked dinner last night, I didn't love it? Is that a message maybe outside of an argument? It's like, you made dinner, why don't you let me handle the cooking from now on, because I didn't love it. And I can't say it, so here's how I'm going to show it.
Maybe Johnny put something in the dinner that messed up her stomach. Maybe she can't have cheese. Johnny should have known that. He threw cheese in the dish and messed up her stomach. And now these are now the repercussions of his actions.
Gina, do you think it was allergies?
It could be, but I've never known someone to poop because of allergies. So I'm going to have to go with no based on science.
I don't think so either, Gina. I think she did it for revenge. I don't think it was because of lactose intolerant. And that's one of the things that you could put forward. We're just spitballing here. Some of the theories. You said it could be lactose intolerant. I said it could be cooking. I think this was revenge.
Interesting way to take revenge.
Yes.
I think very colorful. I will give her points for originality.
Would you say it's outside the box, or would you say it's outside the bowl?
Interesting. Bowl or box? What do we go with? Bowl or box? I think I would have to go with outside the bowl, just based on what substance we're talking about.
I think so too, Gina. And it's a great point.
Yeah.
Now, you said toxicity. You said you went through levels 1 through 10, which is how, like, it's a great scale. But can we rate it in terms of breakfast cereals? Okay, like the least toxic breakfast cereal I see would be like a Cheerios or something. And the most toxic, of course, is Trix, you know.
I mean, the name
Or
alone.
Cocoa Puffs. I'm sorry, it's cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
That's a little bit racist, Michael. I would have to pull back. I'm going to give you a little pushback. I'm going to allow you to pull back on the Cocoa Puffs as being the most toxic. I would have gone with your original answer of Trix, as the word trick meaning prostitution, going into that realm, giving that to little kids. I would definitely call a cereal called Trix, as in the kids are turning the tricks.
Oh my God.
That is very toxic.
And sex for money. And as a helicopter parent, you're against it, Gina.
I am against it, although I am for women using their bodies for whatever they'd like.
Right.
I would like to say, if you want to get paid for your hot bod and you want to do things with strangers that are questionable, go ahead, empower yourself. But I do think in the world of turning tricks, I think, we got to update how we view our prostitutes.
Yes, we can't. You said if they're of age, people could do whatever they want with their body, and their body could be a playground if they want it to be, right, Gina?
Yes, their body could be a wonderland, using the words of Mr. John Mayer.
You know, that's a great point, Gina. And John Mayer is one of our classic crooners, and we mention him a lot on this podcast.
As you should.
Okay, that's a hot take, Gina. That's a hot take. I'm glad we took the time to get your opinion on, because it's I watch a lot of YouTube videos on whether something is toxic or whether it's not toxic. And there's a lot of things out there. And this case just brings it all to light. So I appreciate somebody who has a great relationship and a balance and a family and is going to a playground later today. I mean, it's an amazing take. Now, and I see you looking out of your eye to keep a watchful eye on your family while still knocking it out of the park on this podcast. Michael, is that the mother in you, Gina?
It's a natural thing now. I got to be aware of my surroundings. I'm like someone who was in the CIA. I'm very aware of the exits in the room, of all the people in the room, of the closest weapon to me, just in case another child gets out of line and I got to shake a parent.
Can I pitch you a sitcom? Ninja Mom.
Ninja Mom.
You're doing comedy. You're raising a child. You're taking care of stuff. You're warding off danger. You're spin kicking. You're flipping. Your son's the black belt because of Affirmations.
I could see this having a life on streaming. Ninja Mom.
Yeah.
I could totally see Netflix picking this up, where it's just this. She lives a secret life. She lives a secret life and nobody knows about the fact that she's a ninja. Mike, I think we need to take this to the writer's room and start working on a pilot.
Should we at least have a lunch?
I think we should at least have a lunch.
Should we meet for a lunch?
Maybe some soup of some kind.
maybe a soup. And then we could talk about the project over a soup.
Yes, over a nice tortilla soup.
I was going to say hot and sour, which is what the project probably is.
Hello. I mean, you could definitely get yourself a hot and sour soup. I'm more of a tortilla girl. I think we both know why.
I think we do. And you know what, Shannon, I'm going to pull a ninja move right now. And you're going to be so proud of me because I'm going to go to plugs right now, so I don't forget, because we have a slew of stories that I've got to get Gina's take on. So let's go to plugs.
Put that coffee down. Coffee's for closers only. Always be closing. Always be closing.
I'm gonna have Heidi lick some caviar off my balls in the meantime.
This guy is a wrecking machine. And he's hungry.
All right, guys, thank you for joining us, and thank you for being present at the YouTube premiere every Monday at 9 p.m. Thank you for the 5-star ratings and reviews, and thank you for the support of this podcast. We love you, and we're taking risks on this podcast. I'm in an undisclosed location, and the Gas Digital brass is after me, and I'm forced to be in a hotel room. But thank you for your support. Thank you for your love. Keep supporting the podcast. I just shot my special, which was unbelievable. So I'm on the road a little bit now. I have Arizona, Minnesota coming up. For dates, go to MikeVecchione.com, at Comic Mike V on all social media platforms. And check out my other podcast, The Macaroni Rascals with Greg Stone, which is on hiatus right now, but we are going to come back. We have plans to come back strong. So that's all of my plugs. MikeVecchione.com, at Comic Mike V, Macaroni Rascals. Gina, what do you have coming up?
Me? Oh, that's an excellent question. Whilst I pull up my schedule, I know I have Sandman Comedy Club coming up sometime next month. And also, like I mentioned,
where is that, Gina? Where's Sandman Comedy Club?
It is in Virginia, Richmond, Virginia, to be exact. And you can check out all the information as to where I'll be on my website, ginabrione.com. I will also be in Madison, Wisconsin at Comedy on State. It's a great club, and I'm looking forward to both of those shows. So come out, have a good time, and check me out in New York. This month I'll be all over New York City. So come on by to one of the shows. Tonight I am at the V-Spot in St. Mark's, which doesn't matter because this probably won't air in time for that, but that's fine. You guys can always check my schedule and find me and when I'm coming to a city near you, and check out my special, The Floor is Lava, on Amazon.
Very cool. Okay, check out Gina's special on Amazon. Also, people in Virginia, go see Gina. Do you have a date on that, Gina?
Give me a second to open up my calendar, and I will have a date for you.
So it's Virginia and Madison, Wisconsin on the road. Other than that, check out her special on Amazon. Also, she will be in New York City. If you're a New York City fan, come out and see Gina in New York City.
Richmond, Virginia is June 9th through the 11th, and Madison, Wisconsin is June 16th through the 18th.
Very cool. So Virginia and Wisconsin, go see Gina, or if you're in the New York City area, or if you have Amazon, check out her special on Amazon. Shannon, what do you got?
You can follow me on Instagram at ShannonLee6982. Listen to my podcast, The Thing Is, Ding. We talk about bad dates, fighting, and ghosts. We have all sorts of interesting guests come on, comedians, musicians, porn stars, reality TV stars, and they tell their own stories about a bad date experience, a time they got into a street fight, and an experience with the paranormal. Wherever you're listening to Mike Vecchione Investigates, you can also watch it live for free every single Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern at gasdigitalnetwork.com/live. That's absolutely for free. The best way to support the show is to go to gasdigitalnetwork.com. Use promo code MVI. That'll give you a 1-week free trial to explore every single episode of the show that we've ever done, as well as every episode of every show on the Gas Digital Network. If you have your own story to submit or a video investigation, you can send it into MikeVecchioneInvestigates at gmail.com. Go to podcastmerch.com for t-shirts, hoodies, and mugs. And if you listen on iTunes or YouTube, make sure to rate, review, and tell a friend. And that's it.
All right. Just so I know time-wise, what are we at, Shannon?
About 26 minutes.
26?
Yeah.
Okay, we're doing good. All right, let's go to the first article. Shannon. Okay, Gina, this is a hot news story. It's all over the news. Fictosexual man married hologram bride, but now struggles to bond with her. And I just think from that that title, fictosexual is that just is a showstopper right there. Fictosexual is just amazing. When I say fictosexual to you, what are you thinking about, Gina?
Wow, I've never heard the term before. So I'm very curious as to what fictosexual means.
Yeah.
Because when I hear it, I can only think in terms of literature, fiction, fictosexual.
Right.
Perhaps I'm guessing at this, someone who is either attracted to or maybe themselves considers themselves like attracted to a character in either a fiction, a piece of fiction from literature, or perhaps in this case, pop singer, computer synthesized pop singer. So I'm guessing it's someone attracted to a fictitious character.
Do you think somebody in a fictosexual relationship because it's fiction is not that serious versus somebody who's in a non-fictosexual relationship, non-fiction, that's more serious. They're more serious about the relationship than a fictosexual. Fictosexual is just like, let's just have fun. This is all made up. Let's just have fun. But non-fictosexual, which is at the other end of the bookstore, like it's serious. Like I'm looking for a future with this person. Do you think that factors in, Gina?
Are you speaking of like a true crime sexual, or like somebody who concentrates on another genre, or just a regular human being?
I mean, that's a good point, because we could just go through the bookstore: fictosexual, non-fictosexual, true crime sexual. What are the other?
Help sexual, like all these different options. I do think a fictosexual is maybe looking for just a fun time, like somebody to just hang out with so they can, move on from character to character. They seem a bit polyamorous from what I'm
Polyamorous, which is something we're very accepting on this podcast.
As you should be.
She's not real, but his feelings are. A fictosexual man who, at a fictional computer synthesized pop singer 4 years ago, said he's now unable to communicate with her, but his love, he's still in love with her. Akito Kondo, 38, was dating Hatsuno Miko, depicted in pop culture as a 16-year-old with turquoise hair, for a decade before they had an unofficial wedding ceremony in 2018. Kondo, one of many who identifies as fictosexual, or someone who is sexually attracted to fictional characters, spent 2 million yen, or about $17,300 on the nuptials, but his family did not attend. Gina, your son goes fictosexual. Do you support him? Do you show up to the digital wedding, or do you protest it and go, no, you find somebody who's non-fictosexual?
I would have to say I'm a little old school on this.
Yeah.
We gotta go with an intervention to get him into an actual thing. I would support the fantasy up to a point, but when he starts talking marriage, I think it's time to really intervene and be like, this isn't like a thing.
Right. It could be a thing, though, because do you think the problem is that no one did a number 2 in the bed? Maybe Amber and Johnny could teach us something about this. Maybe that's a good icebreaker. Like that's a get to know me thing, perhaps.
Really, it's like, well, do you not want someone to eventually take a shit in your bed?
Yes.
I mean, isn't that a sign of putting your all into a relationship?
I mean, if it's anything, Gina, it's a sign of reality. It's like, okay, I'm going to bring you back to reality. I'm just not fictosexual. I'm very real, and this smells very bad, and this is a real sign.
Yeah, it's not a poop emoji. It's the real thing.
Yes, there's a big difference there.
Huge difference.
Now married for 4 years, Kondo, 38, said his relationship has a roadblock. He can no longer speak with Miku due to a technological hurdle, according to a Japanese newspaper, Manchi. I think that if there he is with her, can you see this, Gina?
Wow.
It's like, and she looks really kind of young, which I don't know if I support that.
How young she looks. It's really frightening how inappropriate this is. It's just getting more and more and more bizarre and inappropriate.
Fictosexual, which is what we're learning about right now. While Kondo acknowledges his relationship might be odd, he understands Miku isn't a real person. It doesn't change his feelings for her. Since falling in love with her in 2008, Kondo was finally able to interact with Miku for the first time in 2017, thanks to Gatebox, a $1,300 machine that allowed device owners to interact with characters via holograms and even unofficially marry them. And it's like, you know what can really affect a relationship? If you have a bad internet connection. It's like, I have a bad internet connection, and it could ruin the whole relationship if it's not a strong Wi-Fi.
You know what? You make a really great point there that I don't think these fictosexual people are taking into account, is that there's not strong Wi-Fi everywhere. In fact, some places don't even offer Wi-Fi. So you may not be able to communicate with your loved one, with your partner, for a very long time, which is definitely going to affect the foundation of your relationship. because everybody knows what is the foundation of any healthy relationship: communication.
Right, communication. And it's like, how can he be like committed to her if there's bad Wi-Fi? It's like he might get derailed by a sex doll, or something else might just draw his attention.
Yes, he might. He might just what if he gets a virus on something and it
Right.
just destroys his whole computer? I assume you
Right.
don't want to do this all from your cell phone. I
Yeah.
assume at some point you want a computer. It's a little more sophisticated, a little more grown up. If he gets a virus in that computer, does she get a virus? Is that like an STD to someone who lives in that world?
I just think that a virus, Gina, to your point, can ruin a fictosexual relationship.
I really think it could, Mike. I really don't see how they could actually make it work if they had a virus or a bad internet connection. There are so many factors that could affect this relationship.
Well, I mean, that brings us to our next point. What about a fictosexual divorce?
That could get messy. That could get messy in the world of cyber stalking and the world of cyber bullying. Who's to say?
Does she deserve, Gina, did she deserve half the gigabytes?
She deserves half the gigabytes. Let's be real. That's what's fair. She deserves half the gigabytes. They were hers to begin with, and I really think he would understand if she got that.
Well, I don't know if she would. Depends what state you're in, I guess. But I don't know if she deserves half the. Let's keep reading. But now his 4-year marriage took a turn when support for gatebox software was eliminated. See, the software wasn't supportive, and that could end the marriage, meaning that Kondo could no longer speak with his wife, Miku, according to NewsHub. Kono insisted it hasn't lessened his feelings. My love for Miku hasn't changed, he told Minichi, which noted his new carried around a life-sized, He carried around a life-size version of Miku. I held the wedding ceremony because I thought I could be with her forever. And let's get this is the guy.
Oh, wow.
And looks to be a doll. Looks to be a stuffed animal.
Real uneasy. Just the picture alone, really kind of unsettling.
Yeah, it seems fictosexual to me. And Shannon, can we move it up? Kondo is far from the only person in the world in a relationship with a character. Thousands of fictosexual people in Japan have begun similar unofficial relationships with a variety of figures.
Wow.
I guess this is happening a lot in Japan. While some relationships are just for kicks, Kondo's is to him very real. For a long time, he said he knew a human partner just wasn't for him due to his intense attraction to characters like Miku, a popular figure in anime and Japanese culture. Do you get fed up with people, Gina, and go, hey, you know what, dude? I don't need you. I'll replace you with a fictional character. Is that something that you've considered?
Well, let me be honest with you, Mike, here. I can't say that I've never been attracted to a fictional character. That would be a lie. That would be a lie. It would be a lie. There have been a couple of princes in Disney movies that I've looked at and thought, you know what? Maybe Ariel isn't for you, but I might be your girl. I might be your girl. I might be the one for you.
What about Old MacDonald, Gina? Is that why you don't like him? Because maybe you had an attraction to him growing up and now it's kind of like weird?
I did go through a farmers only phase, but I will be honest with you, it had nothing to do with Old MacDonald.
Okay.
I was never attracted to him, although there was a brief moment where I thought, I wonder what he looks like outside those overalls. I thought it only because of the brief time I spent on farmers only. I was curious.
Right. But it ended up being like you had to get up too early because those farmers and comics don't mesh very well because we like to sleep in and they get up super early.
Yeah, it is. No, I couldn't do the 3-4 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
The rooster goes, whatever. I was not with it.
And you're not even worried about what sound the rooster makes because it's too early and you're ended up throwing stuff at him.
Exactly.
Or her. However, roosters can pick their own gender on this podcast, Gina. We don't pigeonhole a rooster to a gender.
Absolutely, and I agree with that.
Created as a synthesized voice using Yamaha's Vocaloid technology, Miku entered the mainstream media as a human, but fictionalized character in manga, anime series, and video games. Eventually, she became prominent enough to tour with the likes of Lady Gaga in 2014. Isn't it weird if you're in a fictitious relationship with a character and that character's career is better than yours? That would hurt me a lot. I would be like, this fictitious character is getting more heat than me. And it's making me that would really break the relationship up. Not so much the fact that she's not real, the fact that she's not real and she's on the road making more money than me.
Yeah, you know what? I have to agree with you there, Mike. I think that that would cause a lot of strife in the relationship, just based on the fact that as a person who would be dating a fictitious character who happens to be more famous than me, I would question whether I'm just thought of as yet another groupie. Am I really meaning something to you, or am I a faceless part of your worshiping fans?
Right. Who's fictitious now? Who's really fictitious? Maybe you're fictitious. Real and I'm fake.
I'm feeling a little fictitious here.
God. Fictosexual is a word, I think, that is going to really be a part of this podcast for a long time now, because I'm enamored by it.
I mean, I got to say, it's something that I'm going to probably do a little more research on.
Well, I'm just probably going to bring it up into casual conversation when I'm talking to somebody. It's dude, you're just being fictosexual right now. Just cut it out. Cut it out.
That's an excellent use of the term.
I just think I like to bring it up. Gina, Shannon, this we've gone as far as we can. I don't know what this article has more to say. Like, I don't know how they could keep going with the article. We've gotten everything. To keep the farmer thing going, we've milked it. And I think we need to move on.
I think we do.
All right, guys, I want to take a second to talk about our friends over at RockAuto.com. Hey there, auto mechanics and super cool do-it-yourself guys who work on their own cars. I want to tell you about RockAuto.com, the online store with every auto part at the best prices. This is your one-stop shop for everything auto parts. RockAuto.com has been in business for 20 years, and they make it easy to find the parts you need at the best possible prices. No more talking to counter guys who need to order your parts, aren't really sure what you're looking for, never have quite what you need, and then after all the hassle, will still charge you storefront markups. At RockAuto.com, you can easily find everything you need, and whether you're a mechanic, an auto shop, or working on your own car, everyone has access to the same incredible pricing at RockAuto.com. So if you're a car guy, right now go to RockAuto.com and check out all the parts available for your car. You're going to have so much fun looking at car parts. So once more, go to rockauto.com. No promo code needed as the pricing is already that good. When you order, make sure to tell rockauto.com that you heard about them on Mike Vecchione Investigates. rockauto.com. All right, guys, let's get back into it.
Okay. Do you want to do Madonna's boyfriend next?
Yes, because I know Gina has, she's going to go Papa Don't Preach on this one. I'll tell you what. Now, Madonna broke up, Gina, and I know you probably have strong feelings about this. So Madonna's boyfriend, Malik Williams, they broke up after 3 years. Now, he's much younger, and let's scroll down and see what the problem was here. Hopefully, she didn't do a number 2 in the bed. She knows the power of goodbye. Madonna and her boyfriend, Malik Williams, have broken up after 3 years of dating, the UK Sun reported. The UK is always like first on this kind of stuff. And it just is like, do we not have papers that our TMZ can't compare to the Sun, the UK Sun? Madonna has
inside. It has someone on the inside of that Hollywood world.
They really do.
We need to get somebody on the inside.
The Brits are so fast, Gina. Madonna has thrown herself into a busy social life and has been seeing her friends and family after the split, a source said. She has a packed schedule working on her upcoming biopic, new music, and looking after her family. She also has been busy on TikTok, Gina. Have you seen Madonna's TikToks?
Sadly, yes. They frighten me every time. I got to be honest with you, Mike. I'm a little worried about her mental state. She's staring into the camera, listening to her own song. I think that says a lot. I think she's trying to relive the Madonna of yesteryear. She may have tried to resurrect her Face is looking a bit stretched, not gonna lie.
Yeah. But do you think that's like a lesson for us? Maybe we should be doing TikToks into our own while our tracks play from our album and just like kind of duck facing it.
Well, you know what, Mike? Here's something that just came to mind with your point there. The idea of subliminal messaging. If we're doing
Yes.
TikTok staring into the camera to our bits playing in the background, I don't know if anybody would understand what's going on with their subconscious. I read, Mike. I'm a reader. I read lots of books. And in those books, it talks about the power of the subconscious. So we could get into them. And then they're like, hey, why do I want to buy Mike Vecchione's new album? How come I want to see Mike Vecchione's new special? They don't even realize it's because you were playing your material on the TikToks.
Yes. And also, I would do some affirmations that aren't related to comedy, like Mike Vecchione is a black belt.
Yes, actually,
Yes.
I think that would not only make a good affirmation, you might consider that for a book title.
But Gina, I'm way on board with Subliminal. I'm way on board with Subliminal. And I'm so happy you're doing it with your son. And maybe it is a way to get people hooked on our comedy.
Yes, I do agree.
And that's fictosexual.
That's a whole lot of fictosexual for you.
That's a whole lot of fictosexual, dog.
Wow.
So
That was very urban. I like that.
well, I'm trying to work fictosexual more into my everyday speech.
I get it. I think that was done really eloquently.
And eloquently is a big word for our fans, Gina. So could you explain what that is?
Sure, no problem. For the fans at home that don't understand what eloquently means, I'll put it in terms as a native New Yorker, as a Bronx girl, it means you do classy shit and you do it in a classy way.
Classy shit.
In a classy way.
In a classy way. Excellent, Gina. Our fans are just they're sponges. Literally, they're sponges. They're taking money from their family. They're living off their family. So
Learning
that's what I mean.
so much this episode. They are learning and learning and learning.
They're learning. Madonna's thrown herself into her busy social life. She has a packed schedule. We know that. Now former couple split amicably, according to the insider, but had been on and off for a while. They are still on good terms, and there are no hard feelings, Gina, but they are different places with their lives, the sources added, noting that Williams moved out of Madonna's house and probably into his parents because I think he's 13. With them both working on things, it was hard to keep the romance alight. Reps for Madonna didn't immediately return page 6's comments. And he looks young. Am I crazy, Gina?
He looks frighteningly young.
Yeah.
He looks maybe she's siphoning youth out of him. That's how she's staying young.
You talking like a vampire scenario, Gina?
Yeah, maybe some kind of siren vampire scenario where she's getting these young folks and just there's a lot of Illuminati stuff I see going on here.
But is it, do they function off the blood? I'm not sure how vampire works. Gina, you've watched True Blood and all that stuff. That's big with women. And it's like, is that how they function?
Yes, they do need blood to function. It does help them. Some vampire species, it helps them to remain young. Some vampire species, it just helps them in general with nutrition. However, I do think we're dealing with more of a siren situation than we are dealing with a vampire situation. There's an essence that she's stealing from the youth that is therefore stretching her skin and giving her an almost alien-like appearance.
Good point, Gina. Way to wrap it up. The Queen of Pop seemed to allude to the rumored split on her Instagram story. Is that how you communicate with your fans, Gina, through Instagram stories?
It is the best way to communicate with them, yes.
Karma said, when somebody in your life is not right for you, God, and there is a God, for those of you watching the podcast going, is there a God? God will continuously use them to hurt you until you become strong enough to let them go. Do you find this has to do with karate, Gina, like I do? I'm reading into it. I mean, some of this stuff you have to read between the lines. And hurt you, I think karate, and let them go means you lost the karate match and they win.
I would agree with your assessment. I feel like this is definitely talking about some sort of karate related incident that
What
happened.
jiu-jitsu, Gina? I know you're prolific in jiu-jitsu, so I don't want to disrespect your discipline.
Thank you. I do appreciate you saying that. Or jiu-jitsu, it's some kind of battle royale between the two. And yeah, I do believe that she, having siphoned all his youth, would be stronger now.
Is that your favorite discipline, Gina, of all the fighting styles, jiu-jitsu?
I do have a love for it, and I'm constantly trying to grow in it. I think it's the greatest style because every fight will end up on the floor, Mike.
And what do you like? What's your finishing move, Gina, for our fans out there who are into pro wrestling and don't have a job?
It's great. It's not a typical jiu-jitsu move. It is from the mounted position, an eye gouge, which is my favorite finishing move. It's a very quick, it's like your hand is a serpent and you just kind of, it's very Krav Maga, and you go into the eyes and then you just sort of yank your fingers out. And sometimes you have eyeballs on them. Sometimes there's just blood everywhere. It depends on the way you strike. But that is a great finishing move.
That's a great point, Gina. Do you insist on blinding every opponent?
Not opponents. I consider them attackers, even if they are in a match. Only because a woman always has to be prepared to potentially be attacked. So if we are in a match, I consider this a fight to life or death. So this is a fight to the death, and I am going to make sure that I win it.
Is the eye gouge part of feminism? You mentioned a woman. You mentioned being a woman.
Yes,
you always have to be ready.
Noticing that. Thank you for noticing that, Michael. It is actually a move that I perfected to make a statement against the male gaze and how I am no longer going to subject myself to the judgment of the male gaze.
What would stop you from gouging men's eyes out? Equal pay?
Perhaps. It would have to take a lot more than equal pay, though. I think more open conversations and maybe more punishment for the toxicity in men. I think we need to think in terms of punishment, similar to old school religious days where they would hit themselves with a whip. I think we need to start thinking about that for toxicity and inappropriate male behavior.
How many men have to be blinded for equality, Gina? And give me a number.
I'm going to go with, and this is on the low end, 187,000.
187,000?
I think in the big picture here, Mike,
big picture,
there are so many people in the world that's just a small portion. Really.
I had a bigger number. I had like a different number. I had 11.
11. Oh,
11.
Wow. Okay.
What do you think of 11? Would you be willing to compromise?
11, I could maybe meet you in the middle somewhere if we can make if I can choose the men. If I get to choose the men and political figures are fair game, then yes.
You're being really fictosexual about this whole thing, Gina.
I do. It's something I'm working on in therapy. My fictosexuality is really affecting everything I do.
It's affecting your eye gouging.
It really is. It's making me very biased, I have to say.
I mean, do you have a signature to the eye gouge? You don't want to call it an eye gouge. Obviously, you want to brand it because you're a brand. So do you call it the Brione gouge? Do you call it stop looking at my son? Like, what do you call the eye gouge where you can, I mean, I suggest that you brand it.
I've been working on branding it. We are working on creating its own thing. I've floated a couple of names and a couple of phrases out there. The Brione gouge was one. I didn't like the sound of it. The Gina gouge, the GG, it's sound, the GG.
That's good. GG sounds good.
Well, the GG, short for Gina gouge, which is the one that I'm working on a logo for that. And we're going to get some merch together for the GG because I feel like it's the strongest contender in the names that we thought of.
Can I throw one in?
Sure.
Brionified.
Brione.
It's kind of like you've been verified on Twitter, but now you can't see.
You know what? I'm gonna jot that down. Brionified.
Brionified
Will also be a show. It could also be a serial. I really like that.
It's a show that no one's going to be able to watch because they're blind.
Yeah, that's true. But it will be made for the blind. It will be the way that I give back.
That's interesting, Gina. You're deadly but loving.
It's a balance, duality. It's in all of us.
Let's go to the next article, Shannon. We cannot waste Gina's time. Gina, I mean, this is going to hit home as a mother, so I want you to just make sure you're sitting. Oh, good, you are sitting down. I styled my hair while in labor. I was in agony, but wanted to look my best. Okay, one woman has gone viral after styling her hair while in midst of labor because she wanted to look her best. Those who've given birth, Gina, talk to me now, know how painful the process can be. And it's certainly not the most glamorous one either. But one mom-to-be was determined to look her best when the baby arrived and went so far as convincing herself she wasn't experiencing contractions just so she could finish braiding her hair locks before heading to the hospital. I mean, is this like a national pastime in the Bronx, Gina? Talk to me about this.
Michael, I got to be real with you. I got to be 100% with you because that's all we've ever been with each other. I got to be honest. I completely understand. I got to be real. Before I left for the hospital, I had my makeup done. Now, I knew I was going to take pictures. The hair was already set. I mean, I'm just blessed with beautiful curly hair. It wasn't hard to style, but I had to get the makeup done, and I sure did. And I'm glad I did, because although I did not allow video cameras, I did allow pictures, and pictures were taken. And I got to say, I was looking kind of gorgeous.
I mean, it's pretty great, Gina. You make a great point. And is having a natural birth now the new red carpet?
I would say in a way, yes, in a way, because you're celebrating that you're bringing a new life into this world.
Right.
And, the last thing you want to do is look at video or pictures from such a momentous occasion, such a life-changing day, and go, oh, my hair. You don't want to go, oh, I look so pale. Look at my eyes. They're not popping. My lips have the color. You want to, you glow, but you're also sweaty and you're crying. And so you want to make sure that you kind of doll yourself up for the pictures, because when you show them to your child, you don't want them to go, oh, geez, Ma, you look like crap.
Right. You don't want them to do that.
You don't want that, Michael. So, I mean, what other option do you have but, dealing with these contractions while braiding your hair or putting on some eyeliner?
Gina, I'm just going to ask the question straight up. How painful is childbirth? And give it to me on a scale of cereals like we did before. Cheerios to Trix. I'm
going to go with Trix and beyond.
Oh, wow.
I got to be honest with you. It is, they say you forget the pain. You don't forget the pain. You're reminded every time you see the tiny human that popped out of a hole the size of a paper cut. You definitely, well, if you're lucky, it's the size of a paper cut. Now, you never forget that kind of pain. You never forget it. It stays with you always. My back hurts every time I hear my son's voice.
And do you throw it up in his face like you don't know the pain I went through?
No, I don't agree with guilting my son in that way. However, I will show him the pictures and let him assess the situation himself as to how much pain mommy looks like she's in on a scale of Cheerios to Trix.
How proud are you going to be when he sees those pictures and goes, Mom, let me tell you something. Your hair looks great.
I mean, that is the dream.
Yeah.
Right there. That is the dream, the goal. I will pat myself on the back. I will call my girlfriend who did my makeup. I will tell her that my makeup was complimented, as is customary amongst women. Once your makeup is complimented, you have to call the person who did it or congratulate yourself if you did a great job yourself. I will call her and let her know, and it will just be a wonderful moment.
Right, because, I mean, we have to cover both sides of it. Yeah. So the good side of it, he looks at it and goes, Mom, your hair looks beautiful. And the other side of it, he looks at the picture and goes, Mom, you were a dumpster fire here.
Yeah. Yeah.
And no one ever likes to talk about that, but we have to cover both sides.
I don't think in the current climate we have, dumpster fire wouldn't be used by the youth.
What do they call it now, Gina?
They would call it attractively challenged, I believe.
Okay.
In this
All
very
right.
PC world, I don't think
Yes.
dumpster fire seems too harsh. It seems like you're bullying me, and when we're talking about toxicity in relationships, that would create a toxic environment. So I'm pretty sure, as somebody who's part of the alpha generation, my son would probably be like, "You look really attractively challenged in this picture, Mom. I'm worried about you."
Because we're raising kinder, gentler children, right, Gina? Who are
100.
more caring.
There's and who use a
And
lot
who maybe
of
don't need the high volume of eye gouging that you are going to provide.
Oh yeah, I'm only eye gouging Gen X and
Yes.
Boomers. That's it. I'm only eye gouging the millennials and the Gen Z and the Alpha. You guys are all safe. You're doing the right thing.
They're safe.
I'm only gouging the toxic ones.
Should I be wearing goggles the next time I see you, Gina? Just be honest with me.
There was a time where I would have said yes.
Yes.
But I feel like you're a very evolved individual, Michael. I don't feel like you need eyeglasses or any kind of protection for your face around me.
Well, I'm in an undisclosed location for a reason. And Gina's time is valuable, Shannon. And can we get a time on this?
Yeah, we're just about 59 minutes.
59. Let's wrap it up with the rest of this article because I'm dying to, Gina is specifically can talk to this. So let's get it back up because I want to see what else she did. In a clip that's taken the internet by storm, Sikora Hawks appeared perfectly calm while styling her long hair despite admitting that she was in the worst pain. My husband is on the phone to the labor and delivery department to ask if we should come in, and I'm definitely in the worst pain I've ever felt in my life, which Gina just said. That's true. It checks out. I'm just trying to do my hair before the pain starts again. Halfway through the video, which was seen by more than 12.3 million times, Sakura stopped for a second while braiding to take deep breaths as she experienced another contraction on camera. However, the mom who later gave birth to an adorable baby girl, probably her hair is done too when it came out, continued to power through and finish the look. The viral video as a follow-up to her pregnancy birth series, in which she insisted there simply was no way she could be approaching the big day. I better not be in labor because my mom's not coming until tomorrow. I swear to God, if I give birth the day before my mom comes, I'm going to be pissed.
Yes.
And can we watch this video?
I would love to. If we can, if the video is available to watch, I think we should.
It's a TikTok, I think.
Yeah. Do you want to give me 1 second to find it? Because these are just images.
Yeah. Let's pull it up and see what hair getting done in, what are contractions like, Gina? Is it like meditation?
Oh, no, the opposite. It is the opposite of meditation and is a very not relaxed state. The way I can describe it, it's as if someone has put their entire fist up into your body and is trying to rip your uterus out from you. It's quite painful,
Right.
an unbearable pain.
Is that also a jiu-jitsu move, Gina? Just be honest.
I'm patenting that as a jiu-jitsu move. Yes.
Right.
Yes. I'm calling it the baby reducer. I'm calling it the baby reducer. And it has to be so precise, to get it right. I've only worked on stuffed animals in trying to perfect it because obviously we can't do human trials until we've perfected it on stuffed animals first. Safety.
I mean, it's so fictosexual what you're saying, and I think our fans feel it.
I'm always slipping into that fictosexual. I apologize if I've offended anybody.
It's the best.
I think I found it. Oh, hold on.
I have to watch this now.
Sorry, I just have to make sure I have my audio on. Hold on.
This is a woman getting her hair done during contractions.
Is she
Babe,
doing?
it hurts again.
Wow.
Babe, it really hurts. Did you mark it?
Hi, my name is Gene Fox. I called about an hour and a half ago about my wife's painting. We talked to her. And so we were just trying to confirm if we should come in or not, because the pain we've been timing and whatnot, and it falls within the 511 criteria.
Okay.
Okay. All right. That's it. It feels like she just got those beginning contraptions, but it gets
More intense.
but she did a good job of braiding that one side of her hair. Do you agree, Gina?
I'm very impressed with her technique, and the fact that she was able to stay that calm, and braid her hair is really impressive.
Now, what's it mean when the water breaks, Gina?
That means it's close to showtime. The water breaks. That means, that's like the opening act. The opener is now on. And the feature will be the contractions. And then finally, the headliner is the baby. To explain it to you in comedian terms.
Is the baby in the green room?
The baby's in the green room for the majority of the first part of the labor, yes. And is, in fact, doing very well.
That's amazing. Well, Gina, I think we won't take any more of your time. I appreciate you joining the podcast. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me. This was great. I'm so glad I got to give you my take on these articles.
You gave some real hot takes, Gina, on what's going on today. And our fans rely on us for the news. So thank you for coming in. And I hope to see you in the city. I know you're on the road, but I hope to see you in the city soon.
I hope so, too. You take care.
Thanks, Gina. For Shannon, I'm comedian Mike Vecchione, and we will see you guys next week.
Guys, thank you for listening to Mike Vecchione Investigates. And if you go to gasdigitalnetwork.com and use promo code MBI, you will get 1 week free. That's gasdigitalnetwork.com, promo code MBI, you will get 1 week free. Thank you again for listening to Mike Vecchione Investigates on the Gas Digital Network.